Donald Trump, as expected, waltzed to a double-digit win over Nikki Haley in New Hampshire. Now what? For perspective, we turn to politics editor Victoria McGrane, who joins us from Manchester, New Hampshire. Victoria, Trump won decisively in New Hampshire, but there were some red flags. What are they?
Well, first of all, he didn't win by the big margins that you saw in Iowa and that he was really hoping for, pushing for ahead of Tuesday's primary. You could see he was angry and irritated when he did his speech last night. He also didn't do that great among the state's independent voters, which make up a very large swath of the electorate here in New Hampshire. And, anecdotally, at least, we heard that a lot of these voters were very much voting against Donald Trump or otherwise not open to necessarily supporting him in a general election. One gentleman, for instance, said he'd rather vote for a chimpanzee than Donald Trump. So you got a picture of a Republican Party that's not ever going to be as united as they were behind Donald Trump as maybe they were 8 years ago.
Victoria, Nikki Haley said New Hampshire is the first in the nation, it's not the last in the nation, and she vows she can still beat Trump. How's she going to do that?
Well, I learned a long time ago to never predict anything in politics. Donald Trump taught us that, but it's a very, very hard path ahead of her. She's vowed to go on to her own state of South Carolina, but right now Donald Trump is way ahead in the polls by some 30 points ahead of her. And honestly, what it's going to be the deciding factor and how long she can stay in is the money. Will her donors continue to believe that she has a path? That's going to be the decisive factor.
It appears we are fast approaching a Trump-Biden rematch. What will that look like?
Both candidates, if that is the race we end up with, have some serious challenges. We've already talked about Donald Trump's. On Biden's side, you have what is being described as an enthusiasm gap. A lot of Democratic voters, young voters who were a key part of his coalition 4 years ago, aren't happy with either his age or his particular policy stances. The war in Israel, the Israel-Gaza war is really hurting him among young voters, for instance. And so it'll be really incumbent on the Biden campaign to get voters excited about him again in a way that you're just not seeing in various polls right now.
Lots to follow and look at. Politics editor Victoria McGrane, thank you so much for joining us.
Happy to be here.
For Boston Globe Today interviews delivered straight to your inbox, be sure to sign up for our newsletter at bostonglobe.com/BGT.